I appeared at a place called Montigny, which is was at that time in the Seine Inferior department, to, close to Rouen. Rouen was a main city. I had two brothers and a sister, all 14, 15, 16 years older than me. And my father used to work for the Duke of Westminster, which the richest man at the time, well, he still is one of the richest. Half of London belongs to him, or used to anyway. We used to have the Duke, where the chateau is in the south of France. Biarritz, Bayonne, do you know, no, do you know where Bordeaux is? I take it. It's south of the beautiful, it's in the forest, he was beautiful, I love it, but of course I can't go now. The idea was that I went to school in France first, of course, obviously. Start my education in France until I was old enough to go to one that would be arranged by a duke, I suppose, top school in England. So I would have both, but of course the war mucked that up. But I never came, I only came to England once before the war for meet my father's relatives. He came from Seatonburn, just up the road, north there.
Did your father meet your mother
Well,
through
actually,
World War One?
My mother, she was born in 1898, I think, yes. Her parents ran a market garden, which in the First World War was literally where the Somme was, the big battles of the Somme. She was brought up with that. She saw the horrors of the First World War because she was right on the battlefield. And that's where she met my father, because he was in the First World War, of course. Anyway, they got married, and my father started work with because he loved horses, and the Duke wanted somebody to look after his hunters. I don't know much about, but these hunters are the very tall horses, I think. When the war started, 1939, I think, we were in Normandy. And of course my father and mother, both an older main family, French family, had all been in World War One. They followed the advances of Hitler's army. And I don't know what your history is like, but it was chaotic, really. Nobody knew what the heck. They didn't think. But when they came into France, at first it was, they used to listen to the radio, they won't get to Paris. Well, eventually Paris became an open city to save it being destroyed. Then my father and mother and elder brother decided we should try and go south. They wouldn't get south. Nobody knew what was happening. So my elder brother took, it was Packard actually, drove one of the Duke's car, which was a Packard, the big ones with the big spare wheels on each side, which was lucky. And so he drove with my mother and me in the Packard. My sister went with one of the other member of the Duke staff in the second car, which I don't know where it was. And that's when we started to get the dive bombers. We were machine gunned by dive bombers, then we were machine gunned by fighters. Well, which must have been Messerschmitt. I didn't know what they were. And that's where I first saw my first victim. It wasn't a very nice sight. And I remember lying under the car there as the machine gun everything. And this woman came by screaming her head off. She'd lost her mind, I think. Unfortunately for her, she ran straight into the bullets from a fighter. She got cut into two, fell apart. But that's the first sight of blood and gore.
And you were 6
years
old, were you, John?
Pardon?
You're about 6 years old when this happened?
That would be 1940, I suppose. I would be 7, more or less. Right about that. Anyway, this poor woman got cut in half, and that was it. The car didn't get hit, luckily. It would have probably gone up. I would have been vaporized as it blew up, I would have said, but it wasn't hit. We went on until we got to a branch. I think it was one of tributaries of the Loire, or one of those. And there was French troops and British troops. And they said, there was a small bridge. You can't go on, we're blowing the bridge, you see. It's set to blow, don't want the Germans to get it. But in those days, obviously, no motorways, no nothing. It would have meant quite a detour to find another bridge, especially if they were blowing them up at all. So my brother, who was a elder brother, driving, he said, to heck, as I go in, they said, you may have a few seconds, it's going up any minute. My brother said, I'm putting my foot down. He put his foot down and went. And as he got over, the bridge blew. The car went up and down. Luckily, the driver driving my sister was on the other side of this bridge. So we got separated. But so they said, we'll catch you up at Mimizon. So they got to Mimizon. No sign of my sister. My mother was wondering where she got to. They'd had to go miles around. And the Germans were coming nearer and nearer until somebody said, there's a last ship leaving Bordeaux going to try to get to England. So my mom said to my dad and brother, get the boat, because she knew my dad wouldn't stand having the Germans. They'd have shot him within half an hour, and he wouldn't sort of took the cars, drove off to Bordeaux. They smashed the cars up, and they shoved them off the quay into the docks so the Germans wouldn't get them. Well, what's left's probably story. But they got to England, but my mother, we never got news. We didn't know whether they had or they hadn't for about 2 years. Eventually, my sister, they turned up, but the Germans turned up at the same time. We were immediately put in the house arrest, guard night and day. Why, I don't know. We were in the middle of a forest. What could we do, sort of thing. But the guards were there, guarding us. I couldn't go to school. My mother had an hour to get to the village to see if she could get food. My sister wasn't allowed out either. And that went on for, I don't know, really, time seems to have lost its meaning. For some reason, they thought my mother had a radio and was in touch with London. Why? I don't think my mum would have known how to use a transmitter anyway. I mean, it wasn't something she'd never done. And they questioned her and questioned her. And they used to bring, the tough thing for them to do, of course, the van with the antennas to pick up any transmissions. Well, any idiot would know that when you had a van with a thing at the far end of your garden, that it wouldn't be transmitted. But anyway, they insisted that she was an agent. My mother had to go every day into the village, sort of thing, to report to the commandant here, SS, the headquarters in the village, to make sure we were there. And at nights we had guards patrolling round and round, which we knew because it's all sand there, there's no soil. My mother used to rake the sand, and you could see the trucks round. One night, we lived far in the forest, and it's all sandy. It's sandy, and and there was only a track really for the cars. There was no road. They had to plough through the sand, but it's been flooded with the cars, of course. We heard the lorries winding through the forest. And there was 3 lorries full of, it was the SS. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. The barge knocked on the door. They didn't smash it in for some reason. And officers turned up. And what caught my eye, first of all, was the badge, the skull and crossbone of the SS. It fascinated me, that. And he shouted, "You've got to go. Just leave everything, just leave." But my mom said, she ignored him. She shouted to my sister, to get close, I think, for some reason, while she picked up tins of food and put in her pockets and everything. And off we went. They took us away at 3:30 in the morning to the local station. The officer laughed when Mum said, "Where are you taking us?" And they said it was Auschwitz. But obviously that didn't mean anything to Mother. Nobody knew what it was and why, where it was or how. And they took us to the station where there was, now that part of France is there's a lot of British used to live there. There are chateaus, there are villas, and of course they were rounded up, the same as us. So anyway, we were put on a normal train, not the trucks, a normal train, but there was guards on the roof at each end, armed guards in the corridor, and off we went. And now normally I took the express from Bordeaux to Paris in a matter of a few hours. For 3 days and 3 nights, that train meandered. It took 3 days and 3 nights to reach Paris, because it picked up, it got longer, the train got longer and longer, of course. Paris was, of course, not the Paris we knew, the city of lights. It was dark, there was swastikas all over the place, there was old Germans. Luckily they didn't harm it. And off we went through Germany, and you're going to, well, my mother knew, but I don't think my schooling had reached a stage of knowing the geography of the place. To Poland, God, we're going to Poland for, the Germans had taken it over and all that. Anyway, we got to this place, and the train went through a sort of gates, which years later, in fact after the war, I think, I realised that it was the original entrance to Auschwitz. Anyway, the train pulled into here, and it was snowing, it was sub-zero temperatures, and it stopped. And I remember, why I remember daft things is, they said you can get out, but there were so many guards, don't leave the platform. And I remember the platform was wood. It was a wooden platform. And there was dogs barking, odd shots were going off. And, you didn't know what was going on, sort of thing. Eventually, somebody somewhere got orders. The train shouldn't have been sent there. So it stood there for a couple of days, I think. Eventually, the train pulled out, and was taken back across the border back into France. But it was at a place called Besançon, which is more or less on the, you could see Switzerland from Besançon. And it was freezing cold, so the order was given for these poor blokes to hose us in. Well, it was freezing as it hit the ground, sort of thing. They cut off part of the grounds, it must have been the parade ground or something, and they put up this big electrified fence. I remember it was a big fence. It used to spark and crackle. And it was fascinating for me because I met one or two other youngsters more or less my own age, and we'd never seen things like that, crackling fence. They put up these huts with machine guns and these searchlights, and put a tripwire. I remember we were given the strict instructions: step over that and you're dead. And it used to be, I know, the other couple of other kids about my age, we were fascinated by that. I mean, we knew by then what happened when the machine guns opened up. Now, you always had a feeling of, dare I step over it? Some people did, mine, they committed suicide that way, they stepped over it. If they were lucky, well, not lucky, some might reach the big electrified fence. Otherwise, the machine guns caught them. They were dead. It was immediate death. This poor bloke, he got caught. Anyway, he took 3 days and nights to die. It was horrible. I'm sure it was his left eye. His left eye was hanging down here. I don't know what on. I'm not medical, so I don't know if it's what vein or whatever. The eye was down there. His teeth had all been kicked, or he was bayoneted, 39 bayonet wounds, but none of them to kill him. He was, oh God, a horrible sight. As I say, it took 3 days and night to eventually die. He never revealed, because eventually, if you were caught by the Germans, they would get the information from you, but they'd kill you anyway. So most of them never talked or give them information that they wanted. We were there for about 2 years, I think. When one day, when there was Jewish, which had the big Star of David on there, and it kept disappearing. You know, one day I'd meet up with, we had nothing, no books, no toys, no nothing. And we started, if they knew, some of them knew a bit of English, a bit of French, and they kept disappearing, and at first mother used to say, they've gone home. We were in a camp there, and this year I was with this young Jewish boy. Jewish, didn't matter to me what he was. I didn't really understand why we were different according to the Germans anyway. We heard this noise, the revving of engines, and we wandered slowly and got round a corner where we shouldn't have been really. There was three, they were like buses, single deck buses but the windows had been sealed off. Two of these were revving away like mad, and had pipes and things. They were testing the use of carbon monoxide to gas the Jews, which apart from being slow, it was eventually really expensive. I mean, had these things revving away for hours. And then I was with this young Jewish boy, and we crept around. We not kept out of the way of God and all sorts. As they opened two of the back doors of these, what we take it were buses, but they had back doors on. They opened the doors, and it was full of people, bodies. I don't know whether they were dead or not, but anyway, they started getting them out with hooks, pulling them out, body out, checking them. They were testing, using carbon monoxide to gas them with these things. Little did he know that 3 days later he was one of them. And the ordinary soldiers were like ours. They didn't want to be there. The SS were the killers. They killed at random. The guards, which a lot of them were women, were SS women, and God, they were worse than the men. They were killers. One used to go around with this huge whip, and anybody that crossed in front of her, anything, she'd whip them till they were literally, the skin being ripped off the backs, and they died, and you weren't allowed to help them. If you helped them, you got the same. They were left to die. And another one used to go around with a dog, and had been trained, don't know how, a flick of a finger, a whisper, and it would rip whoever it was. It annoyed her, would rip you to bits. If you did anything, the women, if you walked in front of them, or if they were in a bad mood, they would just turn around and shoot you, and they used to try and get it. If you were lucky, the back of your head blew off. If not, you were left to die slowly. Through the night, they were bringing in, I thought they were bringing logs in. Why, I don't know, because there was no heating in any case. But it was one of the things. It wasn't until the first morning that it started to get light. It had been snowing. They opened the doors, and you saw that there'd been the dead corpses had been piled all around me that had died during the night. Now the Germans used to count you how many there was in a room or a hut. Say there was 50, say 10 died. Next morning, there was 50 when they put the lights out at night. Next morning, as long as it added up to 50, you're all right. There was no crematoriums in that camp. It wasn't built as a camp. They used to burn the bodies on pyres. They used to have, I think it was railway sleepers or something, which piled the bodies. And that's what I never wanted to be cremated. A body, as it burns, can suddenly sit up. It was explained to me that tendon or something burnt or something. So if you passed one of the pyres going, the body would suddenly sit up, or an arm or a leg move. Or it was eerie. Not really used to it, but accepted it. It was part of the thing. I got a woman that with thread, she'd done a rough Union Jack. It's only like the size of a stamp. And one day I put it on and it stuck and I forgot it was on. I stepped outside into the courtyard and that's officer saw it. And honest, you've never seen anybody go into hysterics. Oh God, he went absolutely berserk. He ordered me to take it off. And I didn't realize it was still stuck on. And I didn't know what he was talking about, so I just shrugged my shoulders or something. And that was it. Called the guards. I had to be shot immediately. But my mother, as I said, tried to keep track of me. She realized what it was. She tore it off. And the two guards that came to take me to the execution place were the ordinary Wehrmacht, which was the ordinary soldier, not the SS. If it had been the SS, I wouldn't be here. I would have been shot on the spot. And it never worried me about being shot, actually. I was more worried about my sister and my mum, I remember that. Anyway, these two guards took me away go around the corner to the place where the main executions used to be taken. And they let me go. They told my mum, keep him out of sight. We don't want to do it. There was a big escapes. Some people were setting an escape up and they wanted to go out as nurses through the gates when they opened, and they got these badges bit by bit, and I was told to keep one, because they wouldn't think I would be involved in it, the guards. And I've still got it. It's a big round with a red cross in the middle and swastikas all the way around. Well, before the war, I used to have a life of a prince, really, because the food was the same as the Duke got, because my father was in charge of the horses. and all the food that the Duke had on his table, we got the same. So I was used to venison and pheasants and all the birds and everything. We had a big house in Normandy, and we had a big bungalow in the south. The park opposite belonged to the Duke of Orleans, who, if it had been a king in France, he would have been the king. His ancestors had lost their heads, of course. Used to having a duke, and I would never call him Monseigneur, my lord, because according to me, I used to be an altar boy. My lord was only the one, man wasn't. And he thought it was great that nobody, no. And he used to, when he used to be there, always call and have a word with. The other people we met was, as I say, Coco Chanel, because father taught her to ride properly. She used to ride, but not quite what, or at least he didn't think so anyway.
You've met Winston Churchill?
Well, Winston Churchill was, as you know, he used to like to paint. Well, in the south, in the France, there was a chateau, there was a Duchess bungalow, which was next door to ours. Mind you, at the time, it's only years and years later, I wondered why she had the chateau there, the Duke was there, why did the Duchess need a bungalow on her own, you know? But I didn't think of things. But anyway, he used to like to use our bungalow to paint the Duchess, which was through the trees, and the lake was next, to paint it from our front door sort of thing. So, because my mum had one fault, he said, I'll paint your bungalow. I'll do painting. I go, well, she's laughed. She says, what the heck do I want my bungalow painted, you know?